Boobies! Boobies! Hi, hello.
Hi.
It's me.
It's me,
I'm
Mario.
Joshua.
I'm Caitlin, not Mario.
Mm-hmm. You did a good impression.
I know, right? It was spot on.
I liked it.
They could have hired me for any sort of remakes.
Anyways, now we're really starting. Hi.
Oh wait, no, I thought that was a great intro. Let's keep it.
Let's keep it.
Yeah,
It works.
I am Caitlin. You're Joshua,
I'm Joshua.
and this is
Boobies.
Boobies. That's right. Your
Mhm.
favorite horror movie spectacular
Spook show.
spook show.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And now, today, we're going to be talking about The Haunting
In Connecticut. That's how I have to spell it
Pronounce
in my brain.
every syllable.
Yeah.
I like it. Connecticut.
Well, whenever I'm trying to spell it, it
Mm.
has to be connect.
Reminds me of
cut.
the devil inside when she's like with her lip and she's like, connect the cuts, connect the cuts. Have you ever seen that movie? It's like
Wait.
a 2012, 2013
That's one.
movie.
Isn't there like a scene on the subway tracks?
I'm not sure. To be honest, I don't remember.
I think there
Probably.
is.
I think there is, though.
She's blonde, right?
Is
she blonde?
Mm-hmm. The main girl?
Yeah.
I think she's I'm trying to remember, but what it is like I think she's like going back and like trying to like do some investigation or journalism, some kind of piece on like people, and I don't remember the most of it.
I think
but
I saw
I
it
remember
once.
that part. Yeah, I saw it in the theater with my friend.
And I think I only
Anita.
remember the subway part, or it's a completely different movie. Who knows?
Could be, but I just distinctly remember that part.
Speaking of,
And it was also like put into like I don't want to say it was like a scary movie, but it was like one of those kind of parody movies, and that same scene was like used.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was either.
Interesting.
Anyways,
We'll look into
we'll
that.
look into it.
Speaking of movie theaters, though, and seeing them in it, I did see this one.
Oh, yeah.
2009.
Same.
Saw it in theaters, and I remember liking it quite a bit, to the point where I think I saw this, if not 2 times, like
3 times.
if not 3 times, I at least saw it twice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I
know I watched it,
went
but
back multiple times.
when I rewatched it this time, pretty much like the first time for me, because I honestly could, like, there were certain scenes that I was like, okay, I remember that distinctly happening.
I remembered bits and pieces.
But for the most part, it was like a fresh watch, because
I definitely haven't watched it since 2009.
Yeah, I didn't remember anything about it.
Yeah. No. There was the only part that I like vaguely remembered. I remembered like the dumbwaiter scene, and I remembered, the house being on fire.
I remember that ending.
End. Yeah, I remember the end.
With the
And then also the I'm assuming they're crows or sparrows or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Hitting. I remembered that,
window.
but I remembered it slightly differently. So I think I'm confusing it also with another film. Also, so many parts of this.
Tell me.
Reminded me of The Conjuring. Yeah.
And really this is kind of like the beginning of like those kind of the rise of like possession, house, like ghost, supernatural movies, because before that I think things were still in like the gory like Saw movies, all that kind of stuff.
Phase. I remember that's why I liked it so much, is because I thought, wow, what a nice, different kind of concept that I haven't seen in a long time.
Because before it was just more like kind of like murder, serial killer, slashers.
Yeah, and I was just sitting there thinking, okay, every horror film is basically the same at this point. And which, I mean, you could say that for literally any genre, though. But this one, I just remember thinking, wow, like I liked it so much because it felt different. Looking back now, a lot of the tactics used were a little cheap, and
I don't feel like I had that big of a budget.
Yeah, some of the transition cuts and stuff were like kind of odd to me, and I was just like, oh, okay,
Same.
You wanted to do that? Oh, okay.
But that could also just be like director's choice, like, or
yeah,
like,
And then I
editing.
also thought, like, in the actual, I was kind of trying to think back to 2009, because then, especially once we get to the ectoplasm stuff and stuff, I was like, but then I remembered it was 2009, and I was like, things weren't top of the line then. was like, what was I, a fucking sophomore in high school?
I think it's just really also too easy for things to look like, especially when you use like technology in movies and stuff to like enhance scenes. Like it can look dated, from 5 to 10 years later. Exactly. Pretty easily.
Yeah. I mean, technology's so rapidly
changing and evolving. And so, I think improving. That, thankfully, until we all get destroyed by it.
That's right. Eagle Eye.
But I think
I don't know why that's my my go-to. I think I've already talked about it. That's just my go-to. IT takes over the world. Movie.
I liked that movie.
I liked Eagle Eye.
Shia LaBeouf, right?
Shia LaBeouf, yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yep. Oh, and that's the movie with the kid who plays the violin. He's like playing for the president or something, right? Yeah.
Sure, I just remember Shia LaBeouf.
That's how the bomb. And I remember there's a bomb supposed to go off.
The one big scene. Anyways.
Well, I just remember because that actor who played the little kid was on Disney Channel, but R.I.P. he passed away.
That kid.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
I feel so bad. Yeah,
he had a lot of freckles.
His name. Yes, he was. Yeah,
that's all I remember.
Good little actor.
He was.
That he was.
Anyways,
but yeah. So
Haunting in Connecticut.
I started off with just like how it really sets it up like what we're gonna see the rest of the movie with that opening with like the really foreshadowing of like these photographs and the credits of photos of essentially dead people like held up with like alive people though. Like it was like take a photo with your dead family member.
So I really did like the slightly out of tune like kind of piano intro. I thought it was a nice spooky kind of setting, and it was very simple, and then it just went into the Haunting in Connecticut, and so there's really no time wasted. But then with the way that it started with all the pictures and stuff, I put, what in the American Horror Story is this?
It literally, it did give American Horror Story intro.
It really did.
Yeah, I just put my notes were 1920s poverty,
white people.
It
was a bunch of white people.
Funeral home,
dude. That was weird as fuck. Like some of them weren't quite as odd. Like the couple laying in bed, but that. Well, because but then like the brother or the one that got me is the parents holding the children on their lap, and they're just like
slunched over.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's weird.
Fucking weird.
Yeah, but I think back then people did take pictures with their dead.
I think so. Yeah.
For like. I don't know why.
I mean, some sense of closure, but like I couldn't imagine just.
It was a thing.
But I guess when someone close to you dies, like you just want to sit there and hold them and stuff. It's like, I don't. Maybe. I don't think I would want.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It depends on how fresh this kill is. What are we talking about?
Well, I think they've been like embalmed and they've gone through the
going through the whole process.
Also, I felt like was a very
the morgue assist.
Nice. Yes, the morgue assist. I thought this was a nice stepping stone from the Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh yeah,
I completely forgot when I suggested this one. I was just I completely forgot like a funeral home that any of this was involved.
So it's a good segue.
I remembered the seances, and that was it.
I remember that too.
Yeah,
seances and the ectoplasm, and
I forgot they were morgue assists though.
Yeah, that's the way that I didn't remember that part about it.
Yep, not at all. No clue.
Yeah, so and then I love how like it then was like based on a true story.
Yeah, I have that in quotations.
Yeah, loosely.
So let's dive into this true story a little bit while we're here.
Setting it up.
So this
happened in Connecticut.
It did happen in Connecticut.
Near Hartford, right?
So that's all we've got so far. Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Of the Snedeker family?
Yeah.
Snedeker.
Yeah.
Snedeker? Is that how you say that?
Snedeker or something like that. It's Snedeker or something like that.
Snedeker.
The Snedeker family.
1986. Mm-hmm. In Southington, Connecticut.
They moved there.
Alan and Carmen how'd you say it?
Snedeker. Yes.
Moved in with their daughter and three young sons. Mm-hmm. And while exploring their new home, Carmen found strange items in the basement, tools used by morticians. So that part is correct.
It's true. Mm-hmm.
So that's good.
Yeah. But I don't think that it was an actual funeral home. That it was that was under like there was no. I don't know if there was a funeral home. Was there?
The family soon discovered, to their horror, that their home had once been a funeral parlor, and the eldest son began seeing ghosts and terrifying visions. So okay, but were the other
It was
first off, it wasn't
3 boys. It was 2 girls and 2 boys.
And I thought one of them was not. I thought they were like, they said a built-in babysitter. I think it was like and she called her like
the
mom aunt.
Yeah, as like her niece or something. Yeah.
So I think they weren't.
It was
actually,
like switched up a little bit.
Which that's fine. It doesn't got to be the same thing. But it says the experiences soon spread to other family members and got worse. Both parents said they were. Oh, that's right.
They were getting raped and sodomized by demons. One day as Carmen mopped the kitchen floor, the water suddenly turned to blood and smelled of decaying flesh. So that part was in the film. Blech. The rest of it. Decaying flesh.
Yeah, that would.
That's a horrible scent.
Yeah. Also, I hate the scent of formaldehyde. Like, well, I don't know anyone who's like, give me like, I want a formaldehyde candle. No one.
I don't think I've ever smelled that. What does that smell like?
Did you ever have to do dissection in school?
Oh, that smell.
Yeah. So not only by the time that I got to dissections, I was already vegetarian and I was like pretty against it.
What did you have to dissect? I only ever got to dissect a little pig and a frog.
Oh my God, a pig. I dissected a frog and an octopus once. An octopus in 6th grade. So that was before I was vegetarian. I still cared about animals, but I was just like, and then.
I was so upset because actually.
Or was it a squid?
That I was in, I think the year previously, the grade above us, they told us that they got to dissect a shark. And so I was like, oh, I want to do that. But we got a pig. Yeah.
Poor piggies. Yeah, I don't know. But I remember when it got to the frog and I was in high school and I was like, yo, I really don't want to do this. Like, I actually don't agree with this. And
that sucks.
They still forced me to anyways.
Yeah. American Horror Story once again. Yeah. Misty Day.
And then but then just the smell of formaldehyde, I actually started getting sick and I was like getting faint. And I think just with what you were going through and watching like everything, I was just like, oh, and so I had to step outside and then so now the smell of it at all
were traumatized.
Makes me want to vomit immediately.
That's crazy.
I think at the end though, he takes formaldehyde and that's what he's like spraying on the walls.
All over the walls.
Yeah. So when I saw that, fire. I was like,
nasty. So anyways, to get to the gist of like the main opening of it, we basically have the family. Well, was there more? I mean, basically,
just Ed and Lorraine were in on this
That's
too.
True, right?
But even though Ed and Lorraine Warren, who were a part of The Conjuring as well, however, when people started looking into them, because people started questioning the Snedeckers, because no other tenants had ever experienced any issues with it, and basically, it said one point as they were trying to go in, someone was trying to go in and be like, is this true? And they said that they found the accounts of the individual members of the family didn't quite mesh and they couldn't keep their story straight. And they said, I went to Ed with this problem. And he said, oh, they're crazy. He said, you've got some of the story, just use what works and make the rest up. Just make it scary. So this is, I guess, the person who wrote the book that this is kind of based on. So that's basically what he did. So there's like little baby snippets of truth.
It's loosely based on the truth,
It's not actually a truth. Same with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like everything.
Everything has something. It's Hollywood. It's embellished. It's got to be kind of glamorized, and
anyone who's like gonna take it face value, like, oh, this is exactly how it happened.
And sometimes I mean, most of the time the truth is, in this instance maybe not, but like grittier or not as like,
okay,
what you would have put out in the masses.
Okay, also wait,
on a big screen.
I always thought this was called The Haunting of Connecticut.
And it's a haunting in Connecticut.
Yes.
The whole state is haunted.
Yes.
Connecticut, get out right now.
When I was typing it in to find it, I was like, oh, fuck. I've always said The Haunting of Connecticut.
And you loved this movie.
I did. But then also, there is so many different... So when I was typing it into Amazon Prime, that's where Prime is where I watched this one.
Me too. No, I watched on HBO Max. My bad.
Oh, I saw something said 2021, and so I guess maybe there's an updated version of it,
like a re-release.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I was curious. I was maybe gonna go watch it.
Yeah.
But then like now when I type in Haunting in Connecticut, this one says a 2002 film, but then there's also 2009. So it's just like.
maybe not the same movie, but with the same name.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But I was just like, what? Why are there so many different versions of this film?
So many different accounts.
What year is the real year?
From each family member.
Yeah, exactly. All their different. That's funny.
All their accounts.
I love it.
And so we start the film with this family, not the Sedeckers, but they're the mom, right?
Yes. So it starts, and they're the Campbells.
They're Campbells. There we go.
And it starts with a sort of docu style, very briefly, with
the mom behind or in front of a camera, basically trying to describe, I guess, the experience of what they went through in that house.
Why do good things happen? Or why do bad things happen to good people?
I know.
Why do good things happen to bad people? No. Yeah, it starts with that. And honestly, I was a little confused. I feel like they don't really like hit on that much.
They don't really at all. That this like it just goes and then straight into like the scene of them in the car,
and we go back in time.
Yeah,
and then so I was confused as to like why include the docu style at all. If it's
because they started with that and ended with that on the bookend, but it's just like it doesn't really quite. Like you said, there's never any like talk about it.
Yeah,
there's
never
nothing
loops back.
past, but and in the forward about it.
If they would have ended it with the kind of the same vibe,
yeah. I just had like a mini meltdown there. I could not even speak. But yeah,
okay.
They didn't mention anything about it after the fact. So it's just like
it seemed kind of random.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's fine, but yeah, they never bring it back. But then we're in 1987. Set the scene. We're driving,
and we have Matt in the back. He's clearly not feeling well.
Yeah.
Because the mom is driving him from his doctor's appointments, or he had some treatment done because he has cancer. I never says what kind of cancer. He just has cancer.
He has cancer.
And so
all the cancers.
And so they're doing this aggressive like experimental procedure on him, and I guess it's a long drive from his house. From the place that it's happening to his house.
At least a couple hours. Because then when they get to the kitchen, the father says, like, why did it take you 8 hours?
Yeah.
And so he was like, I know it's a long drive, but it
shouldn't be that long.
And she's like, we had to keep stopping because he was getting sick. But yeah. So
the dad was kind of like bit of a
He's
asshole.
a fucking dick.
Yeah.
I did
throughout the whole
him.
movie. But like at this point, yeah.
I was also trying to figure out what I remember him from. I think it was Weeds because he's the like the DA person.
Yeah, you're right.
And so I was really trying to pinpoint it. I was like, I feel like it was something not spooky, but he's actually been in quite a few horror films from what I saw.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't even pick that up until you just said that right now. That is him.
That was bothering me the moment I saw his face again.
That's how I felt about the mom. I don't know what else she's been in, and I didn't even look it up, but I know she's been in other things.
I've got the cast right here. Virginia Madsen is her name.
Madsen, shout out.
Movies. So, she was in Dune in the original 1984. Oh, okay. There we go. Fun.
I didn't watch that one.
Anyways. She was in Frasier. And Star Trek.
Yeah, and then his sister is the chick from Final Destination 3, the younger sister, but I've never seen her in anything else other than this.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're having a whole conversation, and basically the gist of it is she wants them to move closer to the place that he is having these procedures done on him, because
so that way
he just can't. He can't
far.
make the drive, and the dad's kind of being a dick about it, and then he says some like shitty thing.
Yeah, he goes to say something, and then
but she's the one who says
nobody plans on having a child with cancer.
Yeah,
and he
overhears. Matt.
He overhears, and that's got to be so hard. Real fast. So throughout this whole opening scene and all of this stuff that's happening, there's like this very warm yellow kind of filter. It's almost like a 70s kind of days, like
okay, yeah, like a
filter on it, but not quite.
Okay,
it's warmer, not quite as brown.
Okay, yellowy.
It just felt kind of like happy and safe. And then the moment they move into the house, everything's like blue,
dark
blue tones and stuff, and I was like, I liked that. I thought that was nice. Anyways.
I like that. Very observant you are.
But yeah, the dad's kind of a dick. We're starting to see that. And
so that's whenever the next day they're going
back again
to the hospital, yeah. And so he has that thing with the MRI and all that stuff happening.
Yeah,
and
with that little face graft.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I thought that was really cool. I was like, oh, I want to do that.
I think it's a comment. I don't really know. I don't know. I feel like I've seen it before, but I thought maybe it's more for like burn victims, which could tie in with the fact that he's like Jonah and stuff. It almost looked like a skin grafting to me. It did,
but for some reason that machine was cancer. Was doing some diagnostics tests and trying to figure out what was going on with him.
I imagine it was just protecting his brain. Who knows?
And so they're going through all of that, and then they're going home, and he can't make it home. And so she decides, at
this point, she's gone around and she's trying to look for places to find, because the dad finally is like, okay, yes, maybe we should. You're right. You're right. And so she's going around looking, and then she pulls up to this house and is like, I mean, I would fucking also be interested. That house is beautiful.
It was nice.
Beautiful. I would 110% move in as well. But then she pulls up and the landlord guy's like banging in the sign. He's like, I'll give you the first month free if I don't have to keep banging this in or hammering it in or whatever. And that's when I was like, that
sounds sketch.
Yeah.
Seems like he really wants to get rid of that house.
Yep. And then she's going in and she's like, okay, but what's the catch? And then he was like, well, it's got a little bit of a history. And I was like, a little bit. That's kind of
slightly attached.
Yeah. Also, I do want to note that all the voiceovers that are happening kind of to this point with her, and then some kind of, it's like the scene continues as the vocals continue from a scene as we move into other scenes. And so then it's just, we get this voiceover as like other things are kind of unfolding. And I don't know, something about the voiceovers felt very scripted to me.
Okay. It took you out of like the element of like.
Yeah. Like it just sounded not.
The suspense.
As legitimate. I guess maybe without seeing their facial expressions attached to it, maybe is what it was.
It didn't have the same like gravity to it. Gravitas.
Yeah. It just felt kind of meh. So I wasn't the biggest fan of that, and eventually they kind of stopped doing that, and I was like, good.
It was more in like the beginning part of the movie.
Yeah. It was happening. I think they were trying to set the scene and stuff, which like I get,
and also like keep the movie going.
I just don't know if that was my favorite way to do it. But yes, now they're driving in the car.
You can't
he makes the the joke about this isn't funny, but he's like, a patient has Alzheimer's and cancer, and the doctor says, I have bad news. And he goes, you have cancer and you also have Alzheimer's. And then the patient goes, haha, at least I don't have cancer. And I definitely have a meme about that in my phone.
That says at least I don't have cancer.
It says it's exactly like the same joke.
Oh, yeah. Okay, gotcha. That's
that
so
I found
funny.
Once, and I was like, oh, it's so bad.
It's actually pretty funny. If you don't laugh about it, you cry.
I think it has Shrek, and it's him like sitting there with his eyeballs raised.
Please find this.
I will.
Send it to me.
But yeah, so that's when shit goes wrong, and they do have to end up staying in the house, like the landlord, when she calls him up, he's like, A, okay, yes. B, he brings mattresses?
Yeah.
I said, no,
that's weird.
Man is too ready to get this hand
off of him. Yeah, he's like, just please take it.
Yes. I was like, no.
He's like, I'll pay you.
Yes. It will literally pay you to live here, please. Also, who would leave all of that shit in the basement? Ew. That's so wrong. Like, I don't know. Anyways,
I don't get how that works out, but yeah. So let me see. The doctor. That's hilarious. Okay. The eyes. Yeah, so they're having to stay at this house. They're falling asleep, but then the son wakes up, and so he splashes his what?
Yeah. Well, we see our first ghost in the TV though. We see a little
right when
reflection.
They're just looking around.
Which that one was nice, except for the soundtrack was a little cheesy because it did a bleep, but with violence. In my mouth.
Literally, yeah. No, I get what you mean. Some of the choices with the score, were
it's just a little
off, or even the songs that were playing.
Almost, it was just a little too much. And I was like, honestly, if that wasn't there, I think that would have been more I would have received that better.
Silence is better.
Yes,
most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time I don't I'm paying attention, bitch. Like I'm watching the film. I don't need your soundtrack to be like, bump, like
to make the actual sound effect.
Yeah.
Because
like,
then it just makes it makes it cheesy.
It does. And that's where I felt.
And so they're falling asleep, or they are asleep, and then he wakes up, and then he's having this nightmare-ish dream sequence kind of thing.
Yeah,
but we don't know about it.
Yeah, it seems very real.
We don't know about it at that point.
He's just hearing lots of creaks throughout the house, and he's like, "Well,
what's that?
I'm gonna get up.
I'm gonna go investigate it a little bit
and splash my face with some water because I'm sure he's feeling pretty crusty and everything." And is like, "Am I actually hearing this? What's going on?"
Yeah,
kind of thing.
And so then in that dream he wakes up in the dream, right? Or it's like something happens. It's like transitions.
So he's flipping on. We don't go into fucking basements where the fucking light switch doesn't work at the top of the stairs. He sits there and he flips it on a few times. Doesn't work. This is where I started getting hardcore Conjuring vibes.
And I would not. Oh yeah, that's right. And I would not go down there. Like, what are you talking about? If the lights didn't work, I
would be like, okay, and it's time to turn right the fuck back around. Yeah,
but he decides to go down there.
He does, and then he goes, and it has the basement has this sort of. It almost looks like an office entrance to an office. The wall, it's like got this nice brown like hardwood with mirrors and stuff or their windows, but like a very nice entrance with a door that, as we find out, is locked. And then
he's looking in the
he
reflection.
Sees himself perfectly. I was like, what glass reflects that well?
Same, where I was thinking like, and how is he seeing in there? Like, is there enough moonlight coming in from that little window?
From the little tiny window, yeah. In my brain, I was like, we already know the light switch don't work. Like, you're not seeing. I know you got a white T-shirt on, and that's probably going to stand out the most.
Yeah,
but not that much. Then my notes just go for like 4 lines because I put what the fuck. That was silly when he's looking in the window.
Yeah,
and that little burnt face goes.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
It reminded me of borderline, like almost like the cover of House of a Thousand Corpses. Like they just smacked it right
Copy
on.
And paste. Yeah, I can see that.
I was holding. I said I did put in my notes. I'll admit that I was holding my breath though a bit during that moment. I was like, I know something's gonna pop out
because it felt very like a jump scare is about to happen.
This one didn't fake you out at all with any jump scares. It took every cliche and it ran with them. It said we've got like it didn't waste a single time. How we talked about in Scream 5 when we had 4 of like, the same like door closing jump scares or mirrors happening. Nothing would happen, and I personally love that because I was sitting. This one, it didn't tease you. It said, we're going to give you by the book. Here Zoink. They are. Yep.
Wow. Literally. So yeah, he, oh, and I think I even wrote like when he was washing his face, I'm like, I know that water is cold. Like that house just gives like the water is always cold vibes. Oh yeah. It never gets hot.
Yeah. But the house is huge. First off, like they got to have like 6 hot water heaters or something. I don't know. But it is so beautiful. Yeah, I wrote that in my nose next.
So it was the house, and so it was all a dream. And so then the next morning, I guess that's whenever his mom's like, you can pick your room before anybody else gets here, so please go do that. And then he's doing that, kind of investigating the house, and I mean that's kind of cool. And I was thinking is that when you were like, oh, this house is beautiful? Yeah, he's looking around. Yeah, I was like, it's a really cool. I don't know, like houses like that are so old. I mean, there is the chance of them being haunted, but they're so cool and like so much history. Literally, I like a good squeaky little floor. Like that's cool.
A giant farmhouse, like old kind of farmhouse style with.
Every room looked different, like
wood floors and inlaid wood floors, all of that. I'm just like, yes, that is my dream. And then it's got that little in the dining room or sorts, but it's got that little seating area next to the window with the chairs that pull up, and then it's got little velvet cushions that are still there and stuff. But that's where she finds a bunch of pictures
of the dead people.
Yeah, well, Mom's starting to realize some shit. Yeah. She finds the actual like in frames like photos of these people,
and it's the way that she's kind of like, at first she's like, oh, this is cute, and then like 2 photos and she's like, oh wait, fuck, these people are dead.
These people are dead. And she goes and throws them out in the trash.
And I love how she would do it like I would do, and she like takes the top thing off of the trash, puts them face down, puts that on top of it. She's like, ain't nobody need to see this.
I put bitch throwing out some perfectly good creepy home decor. Give me that.
You would love those.
I would. I would. This is where we also get the dumbwaiter because he's exploring, looking around, and I was like,
dumbwaiter will come into play later.
Big comes into play really well. So I was like, oh, nice little good foreshadowing there. Nothing too on the head. It's just, it lets you know that it's there.
And so, we're fast forwarding. He of course finds the same basement that he found in his dream. And he's like, I need this to be my bedroom. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, why?
Yeah. He says, well, the room picked me.
Yeah.
And I put, that's some Amityville shit. Living in the basement right now. So.
And I think also it was kind of like more so like how he said, like, I have my own private bathroom down here, so y'all won't hear me like barfing. And so like it really then shows even more like how I'm sure he feels like a burden at this point, as especially hearing what he heard earlier to them, and like and when you look at him too, man, he looks like he's going through it.
He looks rough. Poor baby.
And this actor, he's been in like so many other things too, like Jennifer's Body, and a couple.
He does a really great job throughout the whole film. I really enjoyed it. Nothing about his acting seemed
forced or anything. It was pretty.
No, he was good. I really liked him the whole time. While they're down there, we get a good old knocking jump scare too, in which
the mom gets jumped.
Yeah. And then she laughs, and I was like, yeah, we love that. But that's when everybody they've all arrived. Now the rest of the family has, and you get the little kids running up. The first one upstairs gets to pick the room, and then the mom shows the older daughter
the room that she picked out for her
niece thing. The room that she picked out for her, and then this is where we get the closet mirror little scare of seeing a burnt body. And this is where I put, if it didn't have the soundtrack, I would have liked it more.
Gotcha.
Like overall, and I wish it maybe would have given it to us on the way back instead of like reverse, because it gave it to us on the door opening, and then when it closed, it was not there.
But it would have been better if it was leaving us on that note as opposed to like
because obviously it's not a fucking obviously it's not a real burnt person just standing there, like it's a ghost. We know
they
that
didn't see it.
So I wish it would have done it the opposite way. That way it faked us out a little bit, and then we got it, and then without the soundtrack. Because it, again, had a little blamp.
Yeah.
I didn't need that.
I really like the stairs in this movie.
The stairs?
Yeah. I don't know
like
why.
To go.
Yeah, like in the
main
house.
staircase.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're cool. They've got a nice little turn. I loved everything about it. And the basement floor, though, also a big fan of that.
The basement floor, though, how it looked like it had like blood stains on it at all times.
Yes, there was an area where I was like, they definitely have mopped up some blood there.
Yeah.
It was like a dark, big old brown spot. And I was like, but
and
it looked really cool. But speaking of blood,
that's whenever the mom is mopping down there, and then the son is looking at it, and he sees bloody water.
And this is the way that the mom, I did like this, the way that the mom's just continuing to smile through it, because that's what she's actually doing. But it looks so sinister.
It does.
With what he's saying. And so I really did like that part. And that, as we've discussed now, is one of the only factual parts of this film. Well, at least from the original. I mean, the whole thing may be fabricated from the beginning, but who knows? But yeah, then we move back upstairs. They're in the kitchen, and this is where we start seeing that
there's paranormal shit happening. Yeah,
plates getting put back on their own, starting to break. But then I do love, because with his intense regimen that he's having to go through for this cancer treatment, it says hallucinations are possible.
Yeah.
And so I do like the idea that
because at that point it gives her a reason to think like there's nothing really wrong, and he's just...
Well, it also gives us the reason to think that this could all possibly be in his head. Yeah. And almost I feel like maybe I would have liked that.
Instead of it actually happening.
Yeah. Like that, it would have been heartbreaking. But I don't know, it would have gave me kind of like Shutter Island vibes and stuff.
And then it's then to figure out like it was always all him. You just saw everything. Yeah.
But of course, like, that doesn't lend to scary ghosts and stuff. But I feel like I would be intrigued by a film that did go that route.
I like it.
With the similar. But yeah, so I liked that even there it's like, okay, well, what all that he's seeing, like what is real. I really like that.
And so then of course the mom thinks that he broke the dishes and all that stuff, so he gets upset that she's not, he can't really prove what's happening either. He's just like, what? But then even at that point he's questioning himself, and he doesn't really want it to like seem like he's having these hallucinations, because he knows that they'll no longer give him the treatment.
Yeah, and she says, like, if this is happening to you, like, you're gonna let me know.
Right.
And so he's not certain. He's starting to think like, okay, am I seeing, like, is this real? Am I seeing ghosts? And I feel like it really doesn't click to him until they find that box.
Yeah.
With the photo. Otherwise, I do think that he thinks it's kind of in his head. He has a conversation with his dad at this point that I really kind of like. He's sitting out on the porch, and it says, like, he makes a comment that most of the stars we see are dead. And then the dad goes, they look pretty alive to me. And he goes, that's just because they haven't gotten the news yet. And I was like, damn. And then it made me remember how I was afraid of the sky.
Yeah.
For a long time. And I was like, see.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, because beetle guys, it's going to kill us. I can't look in the night sky again.
The horror. That's a real horror story right there. But yeah, so then I guess it's nighttime again, right? Because he's having another bad dream.
Yeah, and I think the little boy also saw some stuff. The younger
that's
brother.
Right.
What's his name?
I can't remember.
I don't know. I literally
accessory
just
character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor boy though. I bet you till the
Billy.
Billy. The whole movie, like his brother was just like taking it out all on him.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was. But then yes, now he is starting to see. I referred to him as BB boy the whole movie, and then little boy I know is his younger brother.
Gotcha.
So little boy's younger brother, BB boy's our main character. But he's starting to get a glimpse of the past, and he's seeing some like witchy shit with them engraving the skin and Latin and stuff. And I was like, this is how Jane Doe happened.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. It had a lot of like
here's
similarities.
The prequel to Jane, or this.
Oh, you're
whatever.
Right.
She was one of these people in the house.
The killing of Jane Doe.
This is how it is.
It just makes sense. And then to follow it with the, what did I say what the end was? It's the autopsy. The killing and
the curse.
The curse.
Yeah, the curse of Jane Doe.
Yeah.
But then the fucking eyelid scene. I do not fuck with this scene. I couldn't remember like the moment they even got those little
I squealed.
Pincher things.
I just like
the whole time
my eyes to the
like
side.
Had my eyes like kind of at it, but my head was turned so that way I could
not look at it, but
I
look
did
at it the whole
flinch a
time,
few times,
like when you're like this, like a little kid.
Yeah, exactly. With your hands covering your eyes, but them peek through so you can see. Yeah. No, the moment they pulled out those little pincher things, I was like, no. But then I was like, surely they won't go past that. And then they did. They lifted that eyeball up.
And snip it.
And then,
I mean, it was pretty fast, but
they show you the whole cut, and it felt, to me, it felt like it lasted forever. I was just like, oh, please stop. Ugh, it's so gross.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
I don't know. And then,
that's when he wakes up, right? And then he's trying to go open the door, and it electrocutes him.
Well, it burns the shit out of him. His hands got like 3rd-degree burns. Yeah. And then it cuts to them in the doctor's office, and this is where they're saying, no, he's not seeing anything. And then I'm pretty sure they called that contact dermatitis. Yeah. Or maybe he said non-contact dermatitis and how it was like the body like receives trauma and it sends it to different places. But I was like, those were fucking 3rd-degree burns. Yeah. I was like, is this doctor dumb? I don't know. Because it even said, it did. I remember them saying at the beginning how this treatment could cause like burn-like
skin lesions.
Yeah, to appear on his body and stuff. So I was like, maybe, okay, that's how it...
They're trying to explain it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
reason it away.
And then, so they get home, the mom's helping him up the stairs, and he puts she needs to go back to get...
his hand through the pillar because she needs to go get something from the vehicle.
Yeah, she left her purse.
Something like that.
I just put, thank God I wasn't eating when the pillar scene happened.
The practical effect. When it like, or when he puts his hand,
it just goes right through
it,
and it's just,
and then just like his hand is like, was it meat? Old meat?
It was just
like, with the maggots in there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of maggots, a bunch of red and brown mush. That just looked like when you like decayed
ground beef and it's like smushy.
Yes,
that's what it looked like. To me.
Exactly like that, and it's that. Was not a fan, but yeah.
Yeah, I had just eaten when I watched this, but thankfully it was done eating by the time I was watching.
I was like, man, if I was eating fucking oatmeal. But so then he goes back, somehow we're back downstairs again, and magically now the door is open.
Yeah.
The dad's like, maybe I got it unlocked. No, bitch.
Yeah.
The ghost wanted you in now. That's what happened.
The Matt goes in there, and then his little brother goes in there with him. They're kind of looking around, and then Matt puts him on the fucking thing.
Which is like weird,
and then just starts spinning him and won't stop. And
I really do. So I was thinking in my head, I was like, I really like the way that this weird spinning medical bed scene was filmed, like from Billy's perspective and everything, and just kind of seeing all of it. I really liked it. And then until they started putting the weird flashback scenes in, it was like important for context, but I don't know if that's the way I would have
placed it,
wanted that to go.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know. Because here is where we see the caskets being filled with sandbags, which is an important part. And essentially you're kind of getting the idea, especially once we saw all the weird Latin shit being carved on their bodies. I don't know if it was actually Latin.
It might not be, but it's something.
They were being carved, and so we were getting kind of the idea that maybe these morticians were body snatchers / not actually putting these people to rest. And there's some weird shit going on here, which I don't know. I guess it was okay. Maybe what it is I don't like the how everything was sepia. Is it sepia?
I say sepia, but it might be sepia. It's probably sepia.
No, I'm pretty sure that's wrong. That's what I've always said my whole life, and then I've started hearing it recently. I don't know why I've heard this word a lot recently, and no one says sepia.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I've always said it. I'm just gonna say sepia.
Sepia.
Sopapilla.
I want a sopapilla now.
Oh, that does sound good. But I don't think I really liked how it kept transitioning to that filter, which is like, I get it, maybe because of the photos and stuff like that.
It was supposed to be back in the day.
Yeah, but it's like, clearly this isn't the fucking same thing. I can tell a flashback when it happens. It was trying to write it out a little too much for me.
Yeah,
maybe I was just kind of like, oh, I don't know. Anyways, I think that was probably the part that I didn't like about the flashback scene. I did like how it was kind of showing like when it was in between the bed spinning. Yeah. So that was nice, but
yeah, finally we have like the little boy. Matt stops and the little boy gets off, and so
he goes, "What's wrong with you?"
Literally, and then the dad comes in. I love when the dad finally comes into the room because he's just like, he makes that horrible dad joke of like, oh yeah, I must have loosened it or whatever. But it's like he just starts looking around, and I know at that point he's thinking like, what the fuck
actual fuck?
What were they doing down here? Where did we move into?
He picked up like one big old like circle cruncher
and he's
thing.
like, oh my lord, or something like that.
And then it cuts to him and his wife being like,
at the family dinner.
Well, before this.
Right.
So they're out there outside, and he says, "How long are you going to keep this from me?" And she was like, "Well, and I don't know. He was like, I thought we said that lies weren't like going to help us. And she goes, yeah, that was when you were drunk and a liar. Yeah. And I was like, that was kind of toxic.
Yeah.
But like bringing that back up on him. But as we find out, he is still very much
a drunk and a liar.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, that part is important.
That's foreshadowing.
Yeah, for you to know. And so, but yes, then they're at the family dinner, and it's
talking about like
all out in the open.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, everyone knows now.
Yeah, he says big deal. I was like, big deal. That is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Makes it a little bit creepier.
Yeah, and it's the way she's just like, it's all right, nonchalant. Like it doesn't change anything. We're gonna have a great time here.
The medical equipment's still here.
Yeah,
that's weird.
That's really weird.
Why would they leave the fucking? I mean, I would kind of be into it, but like normal people wouldn't.
Yeah, and it's the way at this dinner too. Then he starts seeing some shit.
Yeah, so they go to say grace, and they all join hands and stuff, and I imagine they are in the same exact room.
And that's what triggered his.
In which the seances would happen. And so, yes, the moment the circle was complete, Matt was transported back
in time.
Yes. And now we realize that this is where I put Matt equals Jonah. We're seeing the same things.
Jonah's story is being lived through by Matt at that point.
Yes. And so we're seeing this whole seance kind of flashback, and it looks like it's very intense for Jonah to have to go through this. I mean, his body is contorting / kind of sputtering. He's gagging and stuff. Yeah. And so it looks like it's very difficult on Jonah's body. And Matt is now consequently feeling these. And so he's tensing up and stuff. And then it breaks, and he's like, didn't you guys see this? And so now they're starting to think he's crazy, and like he's seeing things.
Hallucinating.
Yes. And it's all on him, because none of them, other than hearing like kind of weird noises throughout the house, no one has really experienced anything
just firsthand.
Yeah. And so, but this is where we get to the nice big, because sister takes him out and takes him upstairs.
Yeah.
And is like, hey, let's go. And they talk about the poems that they found, or they would watch or read when they were kids. And the first one was like, I saw a man who wasn't there, and oh, how I wish he'd go away, kind of thing. But then the second one is the two dead boys, which I pulled it up here. I couldn't find the actual author. There was every single place I found had like a bunch of different authors on it in different editions, or different like actual. There were some had more verses, some had less. I don't know, but the one that was closest to how he recited it in the film was one bright day in the middle of the night, two dead boys got up to fight. Back to back, they faced each other, drew their swords, and shot each other. The deaf policeman heard the noise, came and shot the two dead boys. If you don't believe this lie is true, ask the blind man. He saw it too. So the whole thing is kind of a contradiction. None of that actually makes sense if you think about it.
At all.
Two dead boys that got up to fight. They drew their swords, shot each other. The one bright day in the middle of the night.
No, it's funny because you mentioned that first one, the man.
I saw a man who wasn't there. I think it says something about walking up the stairs. I saw him again today. Oh, how I wish he'd go away.
Yeah, I just watched a movie the other day, and that had that in there, and I'd never heard that before. That's funny.
Oh, interesting.
That you mentioned that, yeah.
What movie was it?
It was called Identity. Yeah, and that was the ending phrase.
Oh.
And it said, and it was mentioned in the middle of it too. But yeah, that's crazy.
That is interesting.
Okay. Anyways, so yeah. They all just basically think he's crazy now.
Cuts to him being in the hospital.
Back into the hospital. Now they told the doctor like what's happening, and the doctor's like, why didn't you mention anything? Basically,
he's watching TV too, and then I guess he's having some sort of dream. I was confused as to where these crabs came from. I was just like, what the fuck do crabs got to do with this?
Yeah, I was also too. I was like, I put white crabs. White crabs. Okay.
I was very lost when that came in. I was like, okay.
So basically, there's just crabs. He's hallucinating and then it gets jabbed with the needle because they're injecting him with some medicinal stuff.
And we realize it's kind of maybe more of a dream sequence. But then this is where he meets the Reverend, giving him life tips onto when you walk through the shadow
of the valley of death.
Do not fear. Fear no evil. Blah, blah, blah.
So,
and it's like, okay, it's not really going to help you, but whatever. Anyways, so this is where we meet the Reverend, though. That's important. We move along. We've got the girl, the youngest daughter. She's sitting there talking with her dolls.
Yeah.
Shit playing. And then I do like this scene because then we get to see just the hand of a body like appear behind her.
Yeah.
And I thought that was good.
And you don't see anything else. And she doesn't really see it at this point either. So it's just us like being like, oh shit.
And then the lights turn off and she goes, somebody turn the lights back on, please.
Yeah.
And then they do. I was like, oh, the ghost listened to this little girl.
She was very demanding. She said what her needs were.
This little girl had basically no fear.
Yeah.
Later on, she walks up some fucking attic stairs, again, pitch black.
No fear.
And I was like, this girl's like 6.
Yeah.
Why the fuck is she not scared?
They're playing hide and seek now, right?
She falls
they're about
through
to play
the fucking floor. Yes.
They want to play some hide and seek, and then what's his face? Matt is counting to go find them. He counts all the way to 100, and then as he's looking for him, that's when he sees Jonah, right? The ghost of Jonah.
Yeah, he's starting to slip through time. As kind of, their lives are overlapping.
And
poor Jonah.
Literally. Poor Jonah.
And then this is where.
Stick.
Yeah, shit into the stick.
I got the shit stick.
I got the shit stick.
My bad. I forgot some words.
Same message.
Same message. Yes. But yeah.
It's a party in the morgue now. They all down
because
there.
they got all those gurneys, right? And
there's like 6 of them.
Bodies on them.
And then I did like this in the in the reflection because Matt turns away. And in the reflection of the window, you see all of the sheets get pulled away, which I was like, ooh, that's pretty creepy.
And then these bodies are moving.
One of the bodies had their leg bending the opposite direction. Like kind of it was going up, like the knee was disjointed in the hip. I didn't like that.
Yeah, and they're all like surrounding him.
And they kind of creepy because they ain't got no eyelids and their whole skins are carved up.
And it's the way that he's seeing all this shit, and then finally it just kind of lashes out, and then it's at his little brother because they're all in their room with him now, and he couldn't see that
because he was screaming for help. But now his world is getting altered around him, and he's seeing things that were possibly from a different time. He's seeing things through Jonah's eyes at this point. So, again, making him look crazy.
Yeah. And so at this point, then we're going a little forward. He's getting this rash that is like on his body, on his chest, like
which kind of you can assume is from the medication
because they said that was supposed to happen, but it's also could be from like stuff hauntings going on and like
it's
him
really
getting more and more possessed by whatever is happening there.
Yeah, it's keeping you guessing. It's like, okay, is this real? Is it not? I don't know.
I like that. It kept you in between because you're still also thinking like maybe this is all in his head. And so then at that point I guess he still wants to work out and keep a good body even though he's like going through all that because he's trying to do some workout like chest whatever crunches. I don't know what it's called. I might have skipped ahead.
Okay. No, well, so right before that, he had called the Reverend though and was like, "Oh yeah, I don't know who else to talk to." And essentially, I got the kind of the vibe that essentially they already have one foot in the grave, and so they're on this threshold of life and death kind of thing, and that's the reason he's so susceptible. Yes, to all of that going on. Later on, the Reverend is as well because they're both being treated for cancer. But he goes to do a little poor sit up, and that gross ghosty pops up, which we later realize is Jonah. Yeah. Or maybe then too, but like I guess you hadn't really seen him too much. And even in that scene, I kind of like you really only see the silhouette, and you can see that the skin is obviously burnt and disfigured, but you can't see any features. So I liked that. But yes. That's when he starts going a little bit crazy though, and very much so. Starts stacking the chairs and scratching up the walls, which was it was the sign like he's trying to get through the walls because
all the bodies,
everyone's buried there.
Yeah. But he can't make sense of any of that right now.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And he's also going through all that cancer treatment, and he has freaking cancer. He's like going through all the pain that he would be feeling, going through all of that.
It's probably a good mix of everything that's happening to him. Like but that he himself doesn't know, because obviously no one's gonna. Yeah. Well, I guess especially if you have the idea already that you could be hallucinating in your mind, you're gonna question that.
It would drive you even more crazy, probably.
I mean, even completely normal people would question that. They'd be like, "Fuck, am I seeing? Like, I'm seeing things. This isn't real. This isn't real."
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's kind of where he is. I don't remember where he came back in, but I put the dad's kind of being a dick.
Always throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, for real. But I was like, he looks so fucking ragged. The mom's crying. And she's like, please don't take my boy. Like, no, you can't have him, kind of stuff. She throws the cross kind of away. Yeah. I was like, you can't have him. You can't have him.
She's having a whole moment.
Dad's not having great coping mechanisms. He's drinking, smashing guitars on shit.
Yeah.
But then we flash back to Matt. He's got this fat ass candle on fire next to him as he's sleeping. And I was like, boy, why are you sleeping with a candle on? That's how you die.
Literally.
The ghost shadow comes in over him. I really thought it was going to blow out the candle because he burnt to death. But
yeah, but no.
No, so what happened?
That would have been better.
It would have, right?
I like your ideas.
But then we flash back to the kids, and they're going to go play hide and seek again. And Matt, when he shows up this time, I was like, okay, Matt Heike is being a little creepy. Yeah. The way he's standing in that door frame, it gave me very Amityville horror kind of vibes. Where
it gave me like he's getting possessed.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not Matt.
That's not Matt. Yeah. The way he's acting, and of course, he's probably literally trying to just exist. And I imagine it's got to be so hard. That's why he just looked so run down. But the way that he
was just
looked
done.
and act there was very kind of disturbing. He did a great job. But yes, so they go to play hide and seek again. We have the two younger siblings run off, and
that's right. And then that's when they like try to go to the dumbwaiter, and only the boy gets in the dumbwaiter, and he's like, "Go find your own hiding spot."
Yeah, as any sibling would do.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
and
back off. This is mine.
Literally, they get in there. He gets in there, and she goes away. That's whenever she goes up to the attic, right?
Yep. Yep. She goes up to the attic, and this is where she's just calmly walking up the fucking dark stairs.
And that's some shit goes down, because then the little boy.
This scene scared the fuck out of me originally. I remember being like, "Oh, nope,"
because he's in the dumbwaiter, and then there's whole
just a person behind him
in there and with him, and he's just like
breathing ragged breaths because he's fucking died a terrible death, and so he's just like behind him.
It's so bad.
Ooh, and it's just dark, and you can see the silhouette. Yeah, and he's stuck. He is stuck.
And he's streaming his head off.
I would be losing my goddamn mind if I was him.
Yeah. Like, meanwhile, the little girl falls through the ceiling. And
she's chill as fuck. She's just like, first off, she heard a noise, and I saw that wheelchair, and I said, motherfucker, if that goddamn wheelchair moves out on its own, I'm gonna lose my mind, because I couldn't remember if it did. Thankfully, it didn't.
Didn't know.
But then she falls through the floor, and her leg went like far, and she was kind of bent like the opposite direction. Like this leg was like straight up almost. I was like, girl's like almost doing the splits. Like it was up to like the top of her hip.
It was the whole leg.
Yeah. I was like, fuck. But yeah, so now the older siblings are like, oh, fuck, what's going on? And they go find him in the dumbwaiter, and he looks back, nothing's there. Yeah. Which is, I'm sure, got to be troubling to him. And then
they find her upstairs with her leg through the thing, and then that's when it's just like, there's got to be something rotted up here.
Yeah.
The wood.
There were so many bugs. I mean, it was like quite literally rotten. It reminded me of the pillar again. Yeah. When they pull out the box and stuff. Once they pull her out, they're like, wait, what the hell's under there?
The box, that's right.
And they find more photos, and this box, it's got like a cross on it, so I'm assuming maybe some sort of religious symbol to keep it intact / protect it. Yeah. But this is where they find
the box of the eyelids. Yeah, it's so gross with the little eyelashes still on some of them. But yeah, so they're going through all of that shit. That's whenever they decide, like, okay, it's time to like, let's actually investigate and see what was going on with this house. And she takes them to the library. And
I also like before that, he's like looking at them, and she goes, what's wrong? And he's like, if I tell you, like, you're just not gonna.
So
and
she's
like, try me.
And
he was like, I've seen this man. And she goes, shut up. And he goes, I fucking gave you a chance. He was like, and she was like, okay, wait, I'm sorry. And he was just like, I've seen him. ever since the day we moved into this house, I've seen him every day and other things. And I feel like he is just looking out through my eyes. Like I feel like he has been inside of me. And he said, we're just two dead boys. And I was like, ooh. And then she goes, let me let you in on this little secret. Because she was like, well, let's investigate it. And she says,
there's a thing called a library.
There's these secret buildings where knowledge is kept all across in every city. And then she's like, libraries.
Literally.
And I was like, this kitchen, she's being cheeky. I loved it.
And so they go do their digging, and then they finally find out like all these things about Jonah and how he was this guy named Aikman's assistant, and a medium.
The way this scene was filmed,
they would hold
reminded
seances.
me a little bit of The Ring.
That's right, when they're going through all the newspapers and stuff. I always like those kind of like computer scenes when they're like flicking through like all those like old
records.
Clippings. Yes, and so I always like those like when they're scrolling through the old photos and stuff. And so
this way I felt like it gave us a lot of background and in a very good and productive didn't take a lot of time. We got a lot of information.
Didn't feel forced.
In a scene that made sense with the film. I was a fan of all that.
And so Aikman, we find out, was like a grave robber and took all these like hundreds of people from their graves and like did whatever to them
in order to enhance Jonah's seances
powers
and to essentially get to where he is producing ectoplasm. And that's what they're photographing. They find it in a lot of the photos. At one point she goes, it could even come from the lower orifices. So I'm like, ectoplasm coming out of your booty hole,
your booty cheddar. And so oh, I didn't even think about that. That's hilarious. Oh, that sounds painful.
I was a child. Sorry.
And so, no, you're good. So that's whenever, at this point, my notes kind of get a little chaotic.
So at this point, we find out that Jonah, the last seance that they had, which we realize is the same one that Matt saw earlier when they joined hands during Grace, that everyone at this seance ended up dead, and Jonah was missing. Jonah couldn't be found, but they did find the 4 people plus Aikman dead there. And then this is where they also realized that as they were trying to build a fucking highway, they had to, displace some graves, and they found that they were filled with sandbags. So this is where they call the Reverend in, and they're like, yo, there's some cursed ass shit happening here. And he says that the eyelids were removed for necromancy. Yeah. And he says the bodies are most likely still on the property. And I was like, well, we're buried in the walls. Yeah. But we don't know that yet. Yeah. Also Aikman. So Aikman was the guy, as we find out, it's given us little subtle hints that Jonah and Aikman didn't maybe have a healthy relationship. Because at one point Jonah was trying to escape, and Aikman kind of chased him down. But Aikman was looking really creepy in all these scenes with the glasses. And it reminded me a lot. And I wonder if The Haunting of Bly Manor got any sort of inspiration from it. Because it reminded me of the guy who got... Yeah.
I didn't watch Bly Manor.
Oh, okay. Well, it just reminded me of the glasses guy.
I watched the beginning of it and I couldn't really get into it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good love story, not a horror film.
Okay.
It wasn't as good as the original
Hill House.
Yeah.
And so they're
the mom comes home though, as Matt is having a very visceral reaction.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
He's essentially gone back into, again, the seance. They joined hands. Yeah. Because they were going to pray.
And he's seeing what's happening basically through Jonah's perspective and not perspective. And then he sees the ectoplasm finally coming out of Jonah's mouth. And
it's getting to all that.
That scene that I pretty much remembered mostly. That was the only thing I remembered from it.
I put the ectoplasm looks funny. That was where I was like, oh, it's a little dated now. Yeah. But the mom comes home in the middle of this, and so obviously thinks this man is hurting her son.
Yes, because she's like, who the hell are you?
He's trying to help. He's got his hands close to his throat and stuff, being like, what are you choking on? What's going on? Yeah. And she's like, get out of here. And then he's like, have you never felt anything in this house? It's you don't feel anything here? Yeah. And she says, no. get out of my house.
But no.
Yeah, I said, Mom, this is not the time to play dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But then this bitch pulls out his card again. It reminded me of Ratma. He's like, here's my card.
Oh, hell, Ratma.
Yeah. He handed a card to Matt. Now he's handed a card to his mom. But yes. And this is where we get the crow scene. The one that I remembered. Mm-hmm. Or I guess it never really clarifies. They look like sparrows on her wall.
Mm-hmm.
But
so you start seeing shadows of them swarming around the house, or at least in front of her window. So you see the shadows into her room. Mm-hmm. And then one of them hits the window.
Yeah, giant bang. Just like
boom.
Conjuring.
Yeah. But it's a bang. It's not a crash though, right? It's just a bang.
No, it sounds like it thudded and didn't make it through.
But somehow there's possibly a bird underneath her bed, because you see it kind of underneath the sheet flapping around, and she's like about to reach for it, and then that's whenever that like
the foot
pops up of like that bloodied up.
I flinched.
I kind of did too. I think. Yeah. Although I knew it was coming, but yeah.
Yes, I did too, but it got me.
Built it up.
I was like, because first off, no, I would not be getting near any flapping shit under my bed if I woke up to anything like that. And so like, I don't know what that is. No, I'm not getting close to that. I'm going to hide in the middle of my bed until and I'm going to scream.
Or I would have just kept it in the bed sheet. Like she's like trying to
lift it up and look under it.
Trying to lift it up. And I'm just like, or you just take the whole comforter off and you take that shit outside, and then it'll like I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been going for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that scene made me jump. But then we flash to the mom and she's hearing doors open and she's like, Peter?
Now she's like, yeah.
Yeah, and then she's like, Matt?
Hearing like footsteps squeak closer to her.
And here I put, it's not Peter. I thought I was going to get into bed with her.
Yeah.
But then when she sits up and it goes, like, pops up in front of her, I was like, okay, that was really cheap. That was kind of not my fave. But this is where...
And also I'm thinking, where the fuck is the dad? But he's just out getting drunk.
We find out because he pulls in and he's
drunk.
Missed the curb a little bit. Yeah. He's taking out some plants.
And then he's yelling at them when he comes in, like, why is everybody sleeping with the lights on? Because they're freaking out because they're all seeing shit. But he doesn't know that because he hasn't been home. Yeah. And so...
what a fucking dick. Yeah. He comes in, starts like literally unscrewing the light bulbs,
breaking them, telling them into the sink.
That you know, we might as well just like give away money if we're gonna sleep with the lights on. And I'm like, bitch, you just came in and broke. Like, light bulbs are not that cheap, especially some of these cute ones y'all had. Those gotta be at least $9 a bulb. Yeah. At least.
So they're going through all that, and then finally, like, I guess she's able to go back and talk to him, and they're outside, and she's like,
if you're going to get that drunk again, don't come home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's being a fucking child. He tries to like hug her and shit. And she's like, get off. Yeah, tell him, girl. Tell him.
Then she goes back inside, right? And then that's whenever the house starts losing its goddamn mind. Yeah. And I'm like, this is Poltergeist 2.0.
Shit. Yeah, that's what I put.
That was like Poltergeist.
I was like, some Poltergeist shit is happening. All the electronics were going, or where the electronics would have been. Like, so even the light bulbs were, this blue light was coming
like
through them. It's
like lightning coming through it almost.
Yeah, it was very much alive.
The ghosts were like, oh, are you taking the bulbs? We don't need that. That's fine.
Yeah. And the mom's like, okay, maybe something's actually going on here. So she calls up the Reverend.
Whole house is going crazy. Calls up the Reverend. He comes.
She's like, are you okay to do this? And he's like, bitch, I'm almost dead. I'm exactly in the space I need to be.
For real.
Yeah, to talk to these ghosts.
Yes. And so Matt, at that point too, he's obviously not safe, because then he starts getting all these burns and like the etchings of whatever language they were carving out on the people on him.
Yeah. It hasn't quite happened yet, but it is still going wild. So the house, the Reverend is still, it's going through, he's taken the iron and he says it protects against evil. And he says a house is with the trapped souls, not so much haunted as it is possessed.
Mm-hmm, that's
right. Like he starts going through and he realizes like in the dumbwaiter and stuff that something bad happened there.
Yeah.
And so then we start seeing Jonah's story unfold. Mm-hmm. The dumbwaiter starts like fucking slamming.
It's crazy, like you're almost killing him.
Yeah, and he says we have to free this spirit like a bird, like we have to free him like a bird caught in a room. And I thought that was a really good way to explain all the bird imagery that was happening as well. But yeah, the house is fucking losing his shit. And the Reverend, this man's as cool as a cucumber. He's really, just like reaching his hand through shit, and he's just like
another time. He's like, this is just another job.
Mm-hmm. And this is where Jonah starts coming to say what up, like up to Matt, and but then he finds Jonah's body and he exhumes him because they think that that's the issue.
And so they take his bones and all that, or, ash.
His ash and his, there was like a partial skull and some stuff that he then puts into this little scarf or some shit. And then he puts him in his car and I was like, boy. And there's like, you dumb, don't put that shit in your car.
Yeah.
But then the scene where Jonah's looking at him through that fucking tiny window, that was creepy as hell.
It was creepy.
Poor Matt just lying in bed and he looks up and he sees that. I would
die.
That was creepy.
Instantly.
Because he just like, it looked like Jonah was on his hands and knees and just like peering through this window at him. And of course he's burnt, so it just looks extra creepy. I don't know. But yes.
It looked rough.
And the Reverend dries off and he's like, it's all fine. Everything's good.
But it's not fine.
It's not. Because then poor Matt
starts getting all that stuff etched out on him.
Just like all the other bodies.
And then
I completely forgot about that scene.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, when it happened. So
I was like, oh fuck Matt. And so Matt's having all this happen, and so of course he's screaming and yelling, and so then his mom goes down there, and obviously it's like
freaking the fuck out. She's like, what have you done to yourself? And he's like, I didn't do this.
Yeah, obviously. And so like then basically he goes back to the hospital, right? And so that's when they have him there, and then the doctor's like, you should have told me about this.
Yeah, because and they're saying that basically we don't know what's keeping him alive at this point. Yeah. His body is so far gone. And we also get the Reverend driving, and I thought the Reverend was going to die.
I thought he was too.
Yeah, because then at this point I wasn't really trusting Jonah because I couldn't remember, and I was like,
he's really the bad guy.
Yeah, and so I was like, bitch, put him outside your fucking car, like, and.
Yeah, so that was crazy. And so that's whenever we get the revelation of what really happened and went down on the seance night, because both the Reverend and Matt are kind of seeing it Jonah's perspective. And
they see Jonah's death and how he was cremated alive.
Basically.
And Jonah just really wanted to tell a story. Yeah. That's what it was.
He just wanted to help not keep doing what he was doing.
Yeah, he was trying to
get
protect
away.
And like his spirit there was protecting other people from all of the other
souls that were there trapped.
They were just fucking pissed, rightly
the
so,
vengeance,
because their bodies were stolen and their eyelids were cut off. I'd be pissed too.
Yeah.
Like,
because then the Reverend is like, after all of this and the revelation, then the Reverend calls them back to be like, you aren't safe there because the eyelids were cut off, because it's not just, it was like to keep them undead, to keep them like seeing everything.
Yeah, I put remove the eyelids to make them unseen.
Yes, yeah. And so then at that point, the more wild shit starts happening, because then the daughter goes to like the bathtub scene.
Yes.
Before that,
sorry, the Jonah's ashes flying out of the car, cheesy as fuck.
Yeah,
it looked like an 80s like hairband. The fucking, what's that one song? Oh god,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know.
But it just looked like
it looked like a bad music video.
Yeah, and all of that came out. I was like, oh crap. Yeah, I was like, I'm sure he was choking on all of that ash. And so, they're not safe in the house. She's in that bathtub scene.
Bites into rotting fruit. Everything's rotting before their eyes.
She's,
And yes, we get a classic. I feel like this served as a lot of classic horror moments. Shower scenes, mirror scenes, all that stuff. And
all the horror movie tropes. There's always a shower scene. Yeah. And she's in there, and then the shower curtain starts like wrapping around her and like trying to suffocate her. So it's pretty crazy. And she finally gets out of that, which I thought she was actually going to die at that part. Too.
It had it like, I mean, you saw her whole face going through. So I was like, oh shit, she did.
And so that's whenever they, the parents are trying to get back, or they're going back.
So this is when they actually have the conversation that like he could go tonight. We don't know what his numbers are so far off. The treatment was frankly unsuccessful. Like it made zero difference. Yeah. And they're saying he could go tonight. So they're like, can we see him? And then Crazy Boy's in the corner sitting there talking about the two dead boys got up to fight. He's whispering it on repeat. And then, he's clawed through a fucking hospital window, which taking Deborah Logan. Why is no one watching as people escape?
Because in all these horror movies, the hospitals are like not.
They're vacant.
And so he's going back home, obviously. And so
he's got an axe again, Amityville, Shining.
Very much so. And then he starts hacking away at the door while the sister's like freaking out, like, oh my God, why is my brother going crazy? And like,
she goes and tells the kids to play hide and seek. And I was like, bitch, this is not the time to split up. No.
And so she sends them off sends the little girl off. And then that's whenever she finds the little boy. But then he at that point is like right like behind them, and it's the way that he like picks up and goes with the axe, and I guess he just doesn't realize she's right there, but like swings right by her to
He's
go
on a mission.
Yeah, to start attacking the walls. And as soon as he starts hacking away at the walls, the bodies start
literally falling
on the floor.
Out of the walls.
Yes,
because they were stacked up. Like
the bodies hit the floor.
Yeah, and he starts saying like, I don't tell them not to put out the fire. Like, do not put out the fire. And she's like, no, you can't put yourself in there. He's like, I'm already dead. He says, I'm already dead. And so he is planning on lighting himself up with the house and all those grumpy spirits to
purify, get rid of everything. And then I guess also like a kind of suicide mission. And also because he felt like, I'm just a brother anyways, I might as well die.
Yeah, and basically, I mean, they already...
And what he went through.
I'm sure they communicated that to him too. Like, yo, your numbers are off the chart. We don't know how you're alive. And so, yeah, he continues to hack through the walls as he's like started to light everything on fire, and there's so many bodies.
And so then everything's on fire. Finally, the parents get back there, and then they're like trying to get into the house, but obviously the firefighters won't let them until finally they start hearing. Do they hear Matt screaming?
Right? Yeah. So Matt starts. So as we go along, okay. First off, the wall of bodies. There's one part where they really pan in on it, and you've got them just like stacked up.
Yeah.
It looked so cool. But then, anyways. Jonah and Matt are one now. We're really seeing like how they're moving through each other. Jonah is using Matt essentially to rectify the situation and to free kind of everything. But yes, they end up getting in because they hear Matt scream. So the father runs and he kind of distracts the firefighters, and the mom's
mom
like,
to get in.
slips
in.
in.
Through, and then she goes in and she's like holding him, and she's just like, I'm here. And then the body's falling from the ceiling. And at this point, I'm like, okay, you see, mom, like shit, was for real.
I was like, they weren't even just in the walls. That put, damn, the body's in the ceiling too. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And so it's the way that they should have been dead by how much smoke they were inhaling. But finally, some firefighters come through and
I was confused as to why. I mean, I know that the door kind of got closed in on them, but I was like, bitch, why are you just laying there?
Yeah.
Like, why are you just... I
think she could have dragged them out anyway, so she was just kind of like, I'm just going to die
She's like, I'm
going
to die with them. Okay.
And so then the firefighters like were able to bust through and get them out, so they obviously survive.
The way that the bodies disappeared before Matt's eyes also kind of cracked me up.
Yeah.
But that was meh. Anyways, but yes, they get out. They're sitting there.
Jonah's spirit is free now.
Because Matt's not breathing, so they're having to do like CPR on him and stuff and give him oxygen. And so like Matt, when he comes to, he basically, there's this little dream sequence or after midlife, I don't know, purgatory kind of sequence where he's in a cemetery and he sees Jonah and then he hears his mom's cries like, Matt, come back to me, come back.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And when he comes back to, he's like, he literally like spits out Jonah's spirit.
Literally.
And then it just kind of pans off like once everyone comes up, and I guess it does bring back in the documentary series here, but not like with the pictures, but with her words. Because then she just says something blah, blah, and the last words are consider yourself warned. And I thought, I just put LOL. Like,
yeah. Cheesy. Cheesy as fruit.
Apparently the house was, according to the ending, because it says like Matt Campbell went into remission and he ended up living, blah, blah, blah. It says that the house was rebuilt and resold.
It's like, who's buying this house?
I was like, why? Why would you do that? Like, did y'all not see the dead bodies in there? The last scene is like a bunch of like skulls getting essentially washed down with some ashes through.
And you just see like a little chip of a like eye and nose bridge kind of piece going
about to go down a storm drain.
I was like, okay, of course this one little piece of skull just made it. Like, yeah.
Not real. But then as it goes into the ending sequence, we start getting flashes of these photos, and so I was like, are these real photos? They weren't. They were just taken from the film itself. And then this is not meaningful to anything, but the font that they used for the ending credits, and it was like fucking papyrus or some shit. It was so bad.
And it was such a switch up whenever they went from the photos that they were doing, and like it was really spooky and eerie to like the actual cast credits coming up, because it was like the song and it was like such a difference like in like levels. It was
silly.
I didn't like it.
Anyways, so
all right, are we ready for some booze?
We are ready for booze. How many booze would you give The Haunting in Connecticut 2009, not of?
Honestly, I give it 2.5 booze.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's fair.
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
Just because of...
It just, I mean, it wasn't like, it wasn't bad. It was just not necessarily exciting. And everything I kind of pretty much saw coming.
Yeah.
The scares weren't really like all that like,
No.
So
very predictable. I just want to go back and give The Devil Made Me Do It less than 2.5 because...
Gotcha.
Sorry, I'm thinking that's like my 2.5.
Yeah.
And I wish that one could be lower. This one, yeah. So I loved it when I saw it in theaters. At the time, I thought it was a pretty good, like, I thought it was kind of new.
Yeah.
But looking at it now today, it was like everything was so predictable. So
that's
on
what I
the
was
head.
Feeling. Yeah.
I didn't like the transitions back, just with the flashbacks and stuff. The overall storyline, I didn't mind. I do think I liked that still. I just wish it could have been executed a little bit differently. I think I'm going to probably have to go with the 2.5.
Okay.
As well.
About that. I mean, because it wasn't bad. It wasn't just that great.
And Matt's acting was great. I really enjoyed him. Everyone else, And in the Reverend, he was good too.
Yeah.
He did a good job. But other than that, I mean, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Not as good as I remembered.
to watch like at home when you maybe can't find anything else to watch, kind of sort of
don't pay money for it.
Yeah.
When it gets free on something.
HBO Max. It's free on HBO Max. If y'all want to watch it, check it out on HBO Max. I mean, it wasn't horrible actually, and I watched it with my friend Ricardo. He was actually scared the whole time.
Oh, really?
I'm laughing because I guess because he doesn't really necessarily like scary movies. So this is like a scary movie light.
Yeah.
For possession movies. So like I feel like people can sit through it.
A lot of it was really cheesy.
Yeah, I think we're just like also like very like again, we watch a lot of horror movies.
We're desensitized to these things.
We watch a lot of horror movies.
Yeah. So there you have it, 2.5 for The Haunting in Connecticut, 2009. Apparently, there's a lot different ones.
I felt like it was 2011, but yeah, it was 2009, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought I was a senior. I wasn't. Anyways, as always, we are in the lovely Rogue Media Network studios. They take the best cares of us. And you can find us on and listen to us in all of Rogue Media's podcasts on many platforms. Biggest ones
like Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
Spotify.
That's right. And if you're listening there, please don't forget to rate, review, and
subscribe.
That's right. It's the only way we'll get ahead in the world.
And we also are on Instagram.
Yes.
If you ever want to follow us on there.
Exactly one social media platform.
And that is at...
I'm saying it?
Yeah.
Boobaes Podcast, all one word. And that's BOOBAES because we are...
Your Boo Babes.
That's right. Not your... Wait.
Boo Babes.
We are your Boo Babes.
My bad.
Not your Boo Babes.
I got thrown off. I'm your boo. We are your Boo Babes, not your Boo Babes.
That's right. Yeah.
But
that's all we got.
Until next time.
Bye, babes.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.